Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hut, and we are back here at the Baseball Hut 2, and hope you like this video and subscribe as we go along and talk about Major League Baseball. So it seems like the Cardinals have decided they're going to sell. From MLB Trade Rumors.com. Mosliak, Cardinals' deadline focus will be on 2024 team, 2024 club. Cardinals came into 2023 with hopes of contending. It didn't quite happen that way, as they generally always do. The club has finished below 500 just once this century, back in 2007, and has qualified for the playoffs in each of the past 4 seasons. Unfortunately, things haven't been trending their way this year, with the Cardinals currently 38-52 and in last place in the National League Central. A few weeks ago, the club's president of baseball operations, John Mosliak, spoke about how the club hadn't yet made any concrete decisions about how to approach the deadline, but those plans seem to have firmed up recently, with Mosliak speaking with Martin Kilcolne as Scoops with Danny Mack, discussing how the club is planning to make moves aimed at improving the 24 roster. Mosliak says the club won't be waving the white flag, but admits that all decisions or all moves we do really will try to get us set up for next year, end quote. He goes on to say that they won't just give players away, but that they, quote, want to get return that's going to help us for 24, and that's going to be really our focus as we enter the trading period. In other words, it's going to sell. They're going to get rid of impending free agents, veterans, whoever they can move, aside from Paul Goldschmidt and Aaron Nolan Arenado. He also admitted that there's not really such a thing as a player who's untouchable because anything can happen, but also states that, quote, the fact is we hope we can keep our core together and then, supplement it properly. To hear him take such a stance is hardly surprising given their current place in the standings. They're 11.5 games out in the division and 11 back of the final wild card. A hot streak between the All-Star break and the deadline could change those odds, but it seems the club's accepting that their best path forward is to make decisions with their eyes set on a fresh next year. I mean, the Cardinals are so bad. They really need to improve their pitching. They're an older team. They need to start playing players that aren't out of position. We know that Walker should not be playing the outfield, but because of Nolan Arenado's contract, and he's not opting out this year, they have to find a better place for him to play. He shouldn't be in the outfield. He's a good hitter. He's going to be a very good hitter for a long time. But they have a lot of players on that team that are completely miscast. A lot of players that really should not be playing where they're playing. They're out of position. And I think that's why their defense is lousy. And really, they're just... And here's the thing, folks. The Cardinals have made a lot of bad decisions over the last few years. They've moved a lot of players that really could help them. I'll just name a few. Randy Arozarena, Adolis Garcia, and Harrison Bader. These guys were on their team. How much different, how would they look today if the Cardinals had those guys? How much better would they be offensively? They'd be a juggernaut with the older guys. But with everything else, when you have a bad team, the pitching is an issue. The Cardinals have old pitchers, and they need to make some moves, and they're probably going to do that very soon. The New York Yankees. Yes, we're going to do a little bit in this video about the Yankees. It's from SI.com. Yankees reporter loosely links Gleyber Torres to 4 teams at mid-deadline. New York could try to trade with a fellow contender to optimize their roster. Interesting. The New York Yankees firmly appear like buyers as they sit just 1 game back of the wildcard spot. That doesn't mean they won't trade big leaguers if the right deal came along. With a lot more teams than usual in the playoff run, we may see some contenders trade with one another to fill each other's needs. If the Yankees get on that action, second baseman Gleyber Torres, who will be a free agent after the 24th season, would be a prime trade candidate. Quote, a club desperate for a second baseman with offensive upside could target Torres leading up to next month's deadline, but they'd be looking past his other deficiencies, betting on his bat. He's a weird player. He does a lot of weird things. I know. I'm in New York. I know. NJ.com's Max Goodman wrote Tuesday, quote, teams like the Blue Jays, the Brewers, the Mariners, and Mets, I don't think that's going to happen, are in the playoff hunt despite poor production at second base. Would they be willing to flip a pitcher to improve at the position? What pitcher are the Mets going to flip them? I'll give them Trevor Gott. I'll let them talk to Chris Flex at this rate. But no, seriously, I don't see. Let me continue. Torres is an interesting case as he's a poor defender and over-aggressive base runner. In other words, he's a bonehead on the bases, but has an above-average bat with an elite ceiling. At the beginning of their careers, Torres often looked like he'd be the superior player to Boston Red Sox third baseman Rafael Devers, who debuted around the same time. Now, he's no Devers. He's no Rafael. He's not even close. And he was so badly Torres for so long. He was the key player in the Aroldis Chapman trade. And finally in this video, we go back to Shohei Ohtani, the center of the baseball world. It's from SI.com. Headline, Shohei Ohtani is the center of the baseball universe. Well, funny I should mention that. The Angels' megastar is unmatched, and his pending free agency will be something the game has never seen before. Shohei Ohtani did not put a ball in play in the All-Star game on Tuesday. He walked and struck out in his 2 plate appearances, but such is the outsized wonder and appeal of Ohtani that the 93rd Midsummer Classic became about him. The 3-2 win by the National League and the emotional home run by Elias Diaz of the Rockies were thrown in their own way. Diaz was named once DFA'd by the Pirates. He wears the name of his mother Anna on his chest protector. She was once kidnapped in Venezuela and rescued 3 days later and made his first All-Star game at 32. 15 years after signing as a pro. To see him cry when thanking his family upon being named MVP was a beautiful tribute to perseverance. But most of all, the game was the unofficial kickoff to the Ohtani recruiting sweepstakes, the prelude to the greatest free agent derby the game has ever seen. I agree with that one. More than 40,000 people at T-Mobile Park greet each of his 2 plate appearances with chants of "Come to Seattle." With Mike Trout and Aaron Judge out of the game with injuries, the other All-Stars spend much of their time here answering questions about Ohtani and his future. Ohtani was the lead singer. Everybody else was part of the backup band. Angels owner Artie Moreno is of no mind to trade Ohtani. The thought that he could lose Ohtani after the season through free agency for nothing is not on his radar. He still believes the Angels can make a September postseason run when Trout returns. We'll see. That's unlikely. There are 5 games out of the wild card spot and hold a 3.9% chance of reaching the playoffs, according to Baseball Reference. But the way Marino sees it, he owes it to Trout, Ohtani, and Angels fans to exhaust the possibility. I don't see them selling. I see them buying, especially if they're close. Now, there are going to be several teams, we know. Once Ohtani's a free agent, the Dodgers will be the most likely team to sign him. They check all the boxes. They can pay top dollar. They offer the West Coast weather and location that suit him best. And they give him the chance to contend for the World Series every year of a long-term contract while affording him his 1 every 6-day pitching schedule. The leading contenders after Los Angeles, in order, let me put this in here. Number 2, the Padres. Number 3, the Giants. Number 4, the Mariners. Number 5, the Rangers, which I expect. And number 6, the New York Mets. And the New York Mets are there at the end because of the fact that Steve Cohen has all that money. But the word is he doesn't want to play on the East Coast. Obviously, he doesn't want to deal with the cold weather here. And the Mets don't play indoors. When Ohtani was asked about prioritizing a chance to play in the postseason, his translator characterized what Ohtani said as, "Those feelings get stronger year by year. It sucks to lose. He wants to win. That gets stronger every year." Well, as long as he's with the Angels, he's not going to win because all the money is allocated for one player. And if he goes to another team, he better make sure that they're going to spend money on good players. We know that if he goes to the Dodgers have a good farm system. The Giants are a quality organization. The Padres spent a lot of money. They haven't won as much as they'd like. The Mariners, they would sign him because of Ichiro, and the cultural thing and the history. The Rangers are in it to win the World Series. And the Mets, well, the Mets want to win a World Series too. So we'll see where that goes. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to the Baseball Hut 2. Thank you, and I'll see you later.